What's going on, YouTube? Appreciate you tapping in, man. Listen, it's been so much going on in the news, till it's not even funny anymore. And it makes you ask the question, what is going on with the First Amendment? What is going on with the First Amendment, man? Why must freedom of speech be so not free or so controversial? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy, man. So people have been getting fired left and right. Is this a problem in this country? Because one thing that is going on, if you just because you don't care about free speech, don't mean that they will not come after something that you do care about. It's a very sad situation and a dark day in our country. Okay. Jimmy Kimmel, along with a whole lot of other people, have been released, uh, fired, discontinued, whatever you want to call it, all because they are exercising free speech. I heard the joke. Was it a was it insensitive? It's up for debate. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing about it is his mouth. And I think people get caught up too much. We come from a society. It's what we going through right now is everybody is so weak right now. Everybody's opinions, for whatever reason, man, people cannot say what they want to say when they want to say it. And that's pretty much what the First Amendment was all about. It's very important. It's the First Amendment for a reason. You should be allowed to speak your mind, freedom of the press, and all that stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna turn to Chat GPT because maybe a lot of people just don't understand the First Amendment. Let's see. Hey Lauren, tell me all about the First Amendment.
Absolutely. Let's dive into it. The First Amendment is basically one of the cornerstones of American freedoms. It's part of the Bill of Rights, and it protects a handful of fundamental liberties. Those include freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, the right to assemble peacefully, and the right to petition the government. In a nutshell, it means the government can't just shut you down for speaking your mind or reporting the news. And it sets the stage for a lot of the free expression that people in the US rely on every day. It's not unlimited. There are some boundaries like defamation or incitement to violence, but it's still a huge foundation for American rights. So in short, the First Amendment is what lets you have that YouTube live and say what you need to say.
Exactly. Tell me a little bit more.
Of course, let's dig a bit deeper. So, beyond the basics, the First Amendment is really about creating a society where ideas can be freely exchanged without fear of government retaliation. Over the years, the Supreme Court has interpreted it in landmark cases that shape how we understand free speech. For instance, cases like New York Times Co. versus Sullivan helped define the standards for libel in public figures. Tinker versus Des Moines affirms students' rights to free speech in schools as long as it doesn't disrupt the educational process. It's also important to know that the First Amendment doesn't just protect popular speech. It protects all kinds of speech, including speech that might be controversial or unpopular. That's really the point, to make sure there's a marketplace of ideas where people can challenge each other and hold those in power accountable. So it's pretty foundational to a lot of the freedoms people in the US exercise every day.
What's wrong with that? Why is it that we as a country have to get so in our feelings about free speech till it makes you want to see somebody leave the face of the earth, for lack of better terminology. There's been so many people, and I'm just catching the news left and right, and I'm hearing so many people talk about, oh, so many people is celebrating the death of Mr. Charlie Kirk. Why? Because the man was speaking his mind. He was speaking his mind, and it was touching some things in your cells that you had to do whatever it took to shut the man up. Why does it have to be like that? It makes no sense. Don't you say what you want to say? And then you got people on the internet celebrating it. See, what I don't understand what people realize, you should not want to celebrate something like that. This man was unalived in front of his wife, kids, and thousands of people. And you don't see nothing wrong with that. It's a couple of people that I heard say some things, man, and it just make me look at them sideways, because I'm like, man, you wanted to shut somebody up so bad that you decide to want to celebrate what happened to this man. This is a very sad, dark day in America. It makes absolutely no sense how people are reacting in this country. You should be able to say what you want to say, as long as it's not inciting a riot and you're not threatening people. It's just that simple. That's what the foundation of the country was built on. This. The First Amendment was so important that they put it first. Number one. It's the very First Amendment before they put anything else down. Number two, the Second Amendment gives you the power to be able to protect the First Amendment and all the rest of the amendments. We are not living in a communist nation. We are supposed to be the freest country in the world. There's no reason why people should be facing danger of death or great bodily harm because of their viewpoints. People are not going to like everything that you like, and you have to be good with that. This is why I say the education system is failing us as a whole, because they need to be teaching anger management, social intelligence, conflict resolution. They need to be teaching these things early, because these bad habits of wanting to do whatever it takes to shut somebody else up, they start as a child. And a lot of these parents ain't teaching their kids how to resolve how to resolve conflict, and how to deal with things that don't go your way. Everything is not going to go your way. Everybody is not going to like what you like. And you have to be good with that. You have to deal with that. What happened to the times where, okay, the political parties line up, you don't like the blue team, vote them out. Vote red. You don't like the red team, vote blue. May the best man win. You shake hands and you be done with it. What happened to these days, man? Like, you people out here would do anything to shut somebody up. You don't see nothing wrong with that. Do anybody see anything wrong with people that would do anything to silence somebody. This is a very, very dark day. Appreciate the comment. Absolutely. It's absolutely wrong to take a life. If you disagree with someone, then you have a platform. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. If you disagree with the man started from the bottom. He didn't have a platform. He caught fire and gained a following. I still did not know who he was until the day he died. Cool. All right. So I looked at some of the things he said, some of the things I agree with, some of the things I don't agree with, but in no way, form, or fashion did I want to see this man lose his life. Or do I want to see anybody lose their life for something that they said? They feel the way they feel because that's how they feel. Even identical twins don't like the same thing, contrary to popular belief. I got a couple of sets of identical twins in my family, and they don't like everything the same. Lauren, tell me about the Jimmy Kimmel incident.
Sure thing. So, the Jimmy Kimmel incident that's been making waves recently revolves around his suspension after some pretty controversial remarks. In short, Kimmel made comments on his show related to the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and those remarks ended up stirring up a whole lot of debate about free speech and media regulation. Basically, after Kimmel's comments, ABC decided to suspend his show. That led to a whole slew of reactions. Some people saw it as an example of censorship or political pressure, while others thought the suspension was justified. The whole thing has kicked off a debate about whether the government or large media companies are exerting undue influence on what can or can't be said. It's also led to a proposed piece of legislation called the No Political Enemies Act to protect media figures and others from what some see as politically motivated retaliation. In a nutshell, it's a big flashpoint about free speech, media freedom, and the role of government or corporate influence in public discourse.
Tell me about what has been going on across the country since this incident about people getting fired or resigning or suspended or whatever. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. Let's break it down. Since the whole Jimmy Kimmel incident kicked off, it's actually sparked a bit of a ripple effect across the country. There's been a noticeable uptick in conversations and actual incidents where media personalities, journalists, or public commentators have either been suspended, let go, or have chosen to step down due to the heat around what they said. It's kind of become a broader debate about cancel culture, political pressure, and how far employers or networks should go in response to public outcry or political backlash. For example, you got a few other TV hosts and radio personalities who've either faced suspensions or warnings for making politically sensitive remarks. In some cases, it's also led to a sort of chilling effect where people in media might be more cautious about what they say for fear of facing similar consequences. And on the flip side, it's also sparked a wave of support for legislation or policies that protect media figures from being targeted for their speech. So, in a nutshell, the Kimmel incident has kind of become a flashpoint for a wider national conversation about free speech, media freedom, and the boundaries of acceptable discourse in a pretty polarized environment. It's definitely stirred the pot in terms of how people think about these issues on a national scale.
If something is not done about this, it's going to get bigger. People should not be silenced because of how they feel about certain issues. That is my take on it. If you don't care about what a person likes, you don't have to listen to them. That's just like if you on YouTube and you doing YouTube reels and you swiping and you swiping. Hell, If you like something, what you gonna do? You gonna stop and like. If not, you gonna swipe on the way. You gonna double tap if you like it to get a folks a like. Please, if you give me a like if you in here. If you come across this video, please give me a like, but and share it out, because this is one of these conversations that need to be had. Free speech is the one of the backbones of this country. You can't just go to China and say what you want. North Korea, I'm not even sure that there is another country that silences its people more than North Korea do. I was watching a video about North Korea, man, and when I tell you, go check out a video on North Korea and see what I'm talking about. Them folks don't have free speech. Well, I think I seen where it was the day of the president, the current president, either his grandfather or his father died. And on that day, every year, everybody have to be silent. And you bet not get caught smiling. Because that's what the president at that time did. Or you will face some very, very bad consequences. We take free speech for granted in this country, because I promise you, you cannot go to other countries and say what you want to say. Stop the hate, people. Stop the hate. Is getting out of control, man. Anytime somebody lose their life over something that man, I don't know what to say about this, man. This whole situation, man. I didn't want to see Mr. Kirk lose his life. At the same time, I did not want to see Jimmy Kimmel lose his job. I don't want to see people lose their jobs behind a First Amendment constitutional right. It should not have to be like this. And we have to move away from the violence. It got to stop. It just has to stop, man. People need to stop being so sensitive about what come out people's mouth. It is crazy, because you'll be ready to crash out and lose your life and lose everything that you work hard for. You've been working hard for this thing for 5, 10, 20 years. And just because something comes out of somebody's mouth, you ready to throw it all away. Man, people, you got to love yourself more than that. You got to love yourself more than what's coming out of somebody's mouth. You got to love your kids more than what's coming out of somebody's mouth. More than you hate what's coming out of somebody's mouth. If you got an anger management issue, you need to seek counseling. Because I could promise you one thing. The guy that killed Charlie Kirk, he regret that. He got caught. He regretted. He knows that he'll never see the street again. They might sit him in the chair and send him away from here. He regret that. He should have went and got some anger management of some sort, like we all should. I had to take anger management. I had a very, very bad problem. And anger management is ongoing. That's ongoing. I'm always teaching myself through Coursera and through YouTube videos. And listen, man, you don't want that side of me. So I train myself not to let that side come out. And that's all people got to do, man. Just respect what people have. We have free speech. We must be respectful, their limitations and everything, regardless. No one should ever lose his or her life. Absolutely. That's a fact, man. Like you got to be respect. You got to be respectful of what people like, man. They like what they like. Again, like I said, identical twins not even gonna have the same taste. They're not gonna like the same things. They're not gonna like this. They're not gonna like that. And they're identical twins. They basically from the same the same egg, split in half or however it go. And they still not gonna like the same thing. They still gonna have differences and things of that nature. We got the First Amendment for a reason. And I guarantee you, countries around this world wish that they had the types of freedoms that we are supposed to have. You know, you got a lot of people want to silence them freedoms. We supposed to have the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom to assemble and gather and peacefully protest. We supposed to have that. But you got some bad actors that just want to mess that up for whatever reason, man. That's just like people coming down here and you know during 2020 the protests and everything and stuff like that, protesting the issues that was going on here in the ATL. You got people that came from Washington State, all over the country, really, to wreak havoc. They wasn't down here to protest. They was down here to wreak havoc. These protests got to be peaceful, man. So it is Thursday night football, and I am not going to keep you on here much longer. The only thing I got, man, is we got to be more respectful and we got to think about the things that we do before we do them. Because I guarantee you, there is so many people in prison right now that will never see the streets again. And they wish that they had not done what it is that they did. It's a lot of people in prison right now because they lost it for 5 seconds. It takes you 5 seconds, sometimes even less than that, to get into trouble. And it may take you 10, 20, 30, 40 years or an eternity to get out of it. Relax, people. If you don't like what somebody's saying, swipe away. Live to see another day. Love yourself, love your family more than you hate the message that's coming out of somebody's mouth. Because I guarantee you, if you get locked up for some dumb shit, eventually the ones that love you, they're gonna forget about you and move on with their life. You slide into year 10, your girl not even thinking about you no more. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all, she not gonna even be thinking about you past the county jail. All because you made a 2-second decision. Well, y'all better wake up, man. These freedoms, man. It's a lot of people die for these freedoms that we have, man. And it is very selfish of people to want to stop somebody from feeling how they feel. You can't have a peaceful debate without wanting to putting your hands on somebody. This got to stop. It's a mental health thing. That's a mental health issue. To me, that's some type of mental health issue at this point. So I appreciate you tapping in. It is Thursday night football. And put your team in the comments. Rise up Falcons. It's ATL, period, point blank.